Hello, I'm Graciela Rivera Oben, and welcome to Montgomery Weekend Review. The Republican primary season has begun and is very interesting so far. Eric Bond, the editor and publisher of the Voice newspapers, will comment. Roscoe Nix, a man who made a difference to our community and our school system, passed recently. Ken Jackson, who comments for this program, will reveal a life of a man who made a huge difference. Who would not appreciate something to remove wrinkles? Stuart Rosenthal, the editor and publisher of The Beacon, will tell us about this story as well as others in this month's edition. Persons who had a drink before getting behind the wheel may be surprised about how a little alcohol can affect their driving record. Marianne Cordier, a local attorney, will explain. Thank you for coming back with us. Stu, tell us about this miracle. We're all like so excited. How do
I get rid of my wrinkles?
You're going to be just as excited as we are. It's a little magical pill that takes wrinkles away?
Well, that's what it looks like. This is the lead story in our health section this month is about a study that's not yet been published, but has been reported in the New Scientist magazine. It's a pill developed by Unilever, which of course is a cosmetic and health company, food product company in England. And what they did is they got scientists together to develop a group of food extracts that have been shown, or at least were expected to be shown, to encourage the development of collagen under the skin. The breakdown of collagen is one of the two things that leads to wrinkles, and especially in older women.
Right. As you get older, you have less collagen in your system.
Right. Postmenopausal, two things happen. One, your body breaks down collagen more quickly, and two, it replaces it less quickly. So those two things together lead to a rapid growth in wrinkles. So this food product, it's a pill of an extract of many different products, is supposed to be apparently trigger the genes to produce more collagen. And they did double-blind clinical trials with 500 postmenopausal women in Germany, France, and England. And the results were almost, you could say, astounding, in some cases. So they found them very effective.
Where do I go? Where do I sign up?
Well, the article talks about the fact that this was developed by Unilever, and it's not a health product, so doesn't have to be approved, at least not in Europe, to be sold. So they are selling it in their 44 spas around the world. They're in England and Spain and Canada and whatnot. But I did look just before the show here, and apparently they're available online as well. You can order them.
Well, there goes my excuse for a road trip. Grace, aren't you going with me to Canada? Let's go.
I assume the FDA wouldn't stop them from being imported because they're not marketed as a health product. They're marketed as a supplement. And
so they're marketed as a supplement, not
yes,
as,
right.
Okay.
So I mean,
excuse me.
Yeah, sure.
I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
I was just going. What would be the trigger to get the FDA involved?
You're looking for that?
No, please don't.
You have a lot of angry women on your hands. I don't really know. I mean, the FDA does have issues with importing certain kinds of supplements, so they might, if they noticed it or it became a big issue, they might take steps. And it might be the kind of thing that, since it's not a food product and it's not being marketed as a health,
just like a diet supplement.
It's a cosmetic kind of thing. It's like a cream or anything else that you would, in that sense, although it's taken internally.
Some of those are the invasive procedures, right?
Surgery.
Not surgical, right, exactly. And it's not permanent. It's the same kind of thing where they assume as long as you take it, it will help, and when you stop, it won't. And they haven't done long-term trials either. So in terms of its health risk, they only know right now that 3 months is safe. There are no side effects apparently to speak of.
Who wants to stop at 3 months?
Right, exactly. That's not the point. So the question is going to be, they need to do more studies. They need to really develop it more and see how it develops.
How long has it been? Did they just?
It's just coming out in the press now. I don't know how long they've been selling it. When I looked on the website, I was surprised to see that it's available in one of their chief products. So it's right up there on the top. It's called Inner Strength or something like that. That's what they're calling it. So I thought, a very interesting story.
That is a very interesting story. You got all the women here talking about it and excited. We thought you were going to bring little samples.
Well, how do I look? Do you think no, they didn't send me any samples. As on a more substantive note, perhaps, another health study that we talk about this month is about Parkinson's. That's a degenerative disease, and it causes difficulty with walking and movement and whatnot. Now, they've determined years ago that deep brain stimulation, implanting in the brain, something that can be used to stimulate that part of the brain that affects movement, will improve people's symptoms and improve the joints and let people walk better or longer than without that. They wanted to come up with something that didn't involve surgery and implantation, that kind of thing, but that just might involve human thought, because they say if stimulating that part of the brain will help you walk, maybe we can stimulate it with thinking. And that's a great idea, right? I mean, if we could really do mind over matter that way, that would solve a lot of problems. So very interesting study, very small. They took 10 people with Parkinson's. They did functional MRIs so that they're filming with an MRI the brain scans while people are thinking. And they asked half the people to think about moving. Well, they asked all the people to think about moving, but they showed half of them where they were activating parts of their brain, and they helped them through biofeedback learn to activate the right part of their brain through thoughts. So in these 45-minute sessions, they taught half of the group to do that and told them to go home and practice it for 2 months. At the end of 2 months, they determined that these people had a 37% improvement in movement compared to nothing on the part of those who had not gotten the feedback. So that is astounding, and I think very interesting. I mean, there's a lot more studies going on now about how people can use their brain to move and affect different parts of their body. I think that's great.
I'm looking forward to reading the Beacon.
That's
I mean, it sounds like there's a lot of good stories. But thank you very much, Stu.
You're welcome.
Really appreciate it.